Hope You Feel Better was based on a twisted reality of an incident that happened to myself, not necessarily the same incident, but I wanted to give it a different perspective and an idea of what if I would have pursued something, what if I pushed for action. And I just played with the idea, and I didn't really have any, I didn't really get any, nothing was resolved from the issue. So this was my form of releasing my emotions, so I wrote, and I'm a creative person at heart, so I just made a movie. Yeah.
And are there any other movies or TV shows that you've seen kind of influenced your work on this film?
I didn't really have anything that influenced mine. I think what helped make, I think in my opinion, my story impactful was telling the truth. I think I derive from telling the truth, and I think that's what really gives it a strong point of view. But I try to be as vague as I could to give perspective on both sides. And yeah, that was kind of my point of view of how I was going to tackle it, was just being honest with what I thought. And I think honesty really gives a strong point of view.
And what was your favorite moment on set?
My favorite moment on set was probably the first day of filming. We shot in one of my friend's restaurants, August Laura, and I think it was just the energy of having everyone on set and excited. We also started with the heaviest scene on the first day, so everyone came ready to go, and I think it was the energy of that day that really moved. We did maybe 2 scenes that day, and it just felt very energetic, and I think I loved everyone's vibe that day. That's really why.
And what piece of advice would you give to filmmakers who want to kind of get started making film?
Any advice? I would say just preparation. Preparation is key. You can't really come to set and kind of wing it, really. Every little detail as far as your shots, who you have as crew, your actors, any specific, like our incident scene, you kind of have to prepare everyone for the day, and so preparation is key always. That is my advice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any questions for Stephanie?
Sure.
David? Or
Oh, you can go. I was just going to ask,
Hi, Devin.
hi, it's Steph. How was your experience as a first-time director?
It was awesome. I had been shadowing TV directors for a while, and it was really cool just kind of being the head of telling your own story. I've always had a actor background, and I've always just been told where to stand, how to say your lines, and I didn't really have that input as far as really telling the story that I wanted to tell. So I think as my first film, I learned a lot of mistakes as far as technical things, but it was a great learning experience, and I would love to do it again. Yeah, it was an awesome experience though.
So as a performer and an actress, how important is it, do you think, for actors to create their own opportunities in terms of writing and producing?
I think it's extremely important. That's such a great question. I think we live in a technological era where it's no longer waiting for your agent, no longer waiting for management or submitting, and it's not a waiting game anymore. In terms of creating your own projects, I think it's super helpful to meet all of these other filmmakers, even if you're just starting out, because you never know who knows who. And I mean, it doesn't really ever hurt to do more work, in my opinion. I think as an actor, grab a phone, grab a friend, do anything, just to show that you're active. I strongly do recommend doing several things if you can. Yes. David?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
might seem a little like minuscule, but I really have to say I like the shots that were the close-ups of the courtroom, especially like the badge, the flag pole, and pretty much like everything. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I really like that when I see that in film, and that always sticks out to me. So I was just curious, as a director, was there something that you saw that said, hey, this is how I want to establish the location, or was that just something like?
That is, it was a specific choice to shoot details of the courtroom. I think details of characters, details of a setting really push an emotion in your scene, in my opinion. And if it's down to a pen flickering, if it's down to someone's eyes moving around the room, if it's just the smallest things really bring life to the setting. So it was purposeful for me to make sure I got these smaller details of the courtroom.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
Particularly in this kind of more sensitive story that unfortunately probably a lot of people can resonate with, I imagine you've received a myriad of reactions from people who do resonate with the story to probably not the most supportive reactions sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of curious to hear from you what it's been like to see the film received.
I've gotten very different reactions. A lot of them have been supportive, and the whole purpose of this film was I do feel like this is relatable, and even if it does just resonate with one person, I kind of did my job. And that's kind of the reason of the title. It's, if it does resonate with you, I hope you do feel better. But I have had reactions of like, well, you know, and this actually came from festivals who disagreed with my film, that didn't really, they felt like it wasn't true. They felt like it wasn't real. It felt like it was pushed. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for your advice. All you can do is just like listen and either agree to disagree, or, you know, any advice is useful or not, but I can never like bash anyone for anyone's experience or hasn't had the experience. So it's a sensitive subject, but I'm just glad to share my story. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think you did an amazing job with it.
Thank
So
you
Thank
very
you.
much.